Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another episode of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel and checking it out today. Guys, we're going to be talking about the difference between two different of the most popular swim bait styles. The traditional just swimmer type swim bait like this, it looks like a shad, and the ribbed body swim bait. These are two of the most popular categories. I'm going to sort of give you guys some tips and advice, how to rig them, and also the conditions where one of them outfishes the other. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Okay, first of all, guys, let's talk about the rib swim bait here. Now, this one, it's whether this is the Zoom Z Swim or the Kitech or whatever, this has been probably one of the most, fish catching lures over the past 5 years in bass fishing. Comes in a lot of different sizes. And also, guys, I'll link all this stuff in my description of this video. I'll link it to my Tackle Warehouse links. If you guys want to pick up some of the products I'm talking about, you can use that link. But this is the one, guys, that is super versatile. Guys use it for a wide range of things. It comes in a size like 2.5 inches long up to like 6 inches long. This is the 3.5 inch model here. And you can do a lot of different stuff with it. The most popular way to fish it is just on a jig head. Let me rig one up and I'll show you here. This is how most people fish it, and it's highly productive like this. Now, when you rig it like that, you can use it on, just straight like that. Just use it as a regular swim bait. You can use it on an Alabama rig trailer. It's really good for an Alabama rig. And one of my favorite ways to fish a rib swim bait, which does not get fished very much, is I Texas rig it and I flip it and pitch it just like I would a creature bait or worm. The wagging tail, when that thing goes down like that, really catches a lot of fish, especially if you guys have a grass lake where you're flipping hydrilla or milfoil. I've caught a bunch of fish on a Texas rig setup there. But this is day in and day out. This is by far the most productive swim bait out there. Now, one of the things that this works a little bit better than this particular swim bait here, and I'll get into this here in a second, is this is really, really good for suspended fish. So if you've got fish that are suspended over whatever type of structures, it could be just out in the open, it could be timber tops, it could be around, bridge piers, it could be around deep boat docks, whatever. Really good way to catch them is on a smaller size, just finessey 6-pound test line, fishing it for suspended fish. And, another way I've caught them real good on this is fishing like a spinnerbait. This 3.5 inch model here, I'll put it on like a 3/16 ounce jig head, and I'll just go down the bank, like lay down trees, stumps or whatever, and I'll throw this thing right next to those lay down trees and reel it pretty fast, try to keep it in sight. And I found that if you've got water visibility of like between 2 to 4 feet and you are getting some fish on a spinnerbait, you can take the rib swim bait and come right behind that spinnerbait and catch even more fish. It's just a real subtle presentation. So the traditional swimmer like this, guys, this is the original one like here. Years ago, a company called Bastrix came out with this thing, and it was really the first soft-bodied swim bait. This has been about close to 20 years ago. And this was the standard forever and ever, even on Alabama rigs. And I'll sort of show you the difference in it. Since these are larger swim baits for the most part, this is a Zoom swimmer right here. I usually use them on a larger jig head. This has got a 4/0 hook on it here. And sort of show you the difference. It's simply just a larger version of the rib swim bait that looks a little bit different, but there is a better application for it that I'm going to talk about here. Bring it up there like that. So you can see it is a significantly larger bait. Now, the times, guys, that I use the traditional swim bait like this over the rib swim bait is when I'm fishing this thing, on deeper structure or close to the bottom. Now, this is one of my favorite baits. Let's say, for example, if it's summertime and the fish are sitting on ledges or they're fishing on deeper points, I'll throw this big swimmer like this and I'll throw it out there. I'll let it hit the bottom and I'll just slow crank it just off the bottom, maybe a foot off the bottom. It's really, really good in a little bit deeper water. Now, it's also good, like I said, on a full-size Alabama rig, but I think you're going to get more bites on the rib swim bait. But as far as me, guys, the swimmer type thing, the big swimmer type swim bait like this, it's more of a deep water type of a lure. So anytime you're catching them like on a deep crankbait or dragging a football head jig deeper or something like that, you can catch them also on that swim bait there, especially if they get off of a more aggressive bait. One of the best conditions for this swim bait here, let's say, for example, it's June and you're catching them on a deep diving crankbait on a main lake point, and you're catching 4 or 5 fish and then they stop biting, a lot of times you can take the swim bait back here, throw it out on the bottom, since it's quieter and a little bit more finessier, and you can catch a bunch of fish that won't hit a more aggressive bait with that. But anyway, guys, that's just a little bit of the subtle differences between the two. There's a time and place for both of them. They're great lures to catch numbers and quality fish on, so hope it helps out. Talk to you guys later.